So another question one of my clients asks is, what do you do when the attorney won't meet with you? Now, usually that happens when you're dealing with larger law firms. That's why you start with the C attorneys and work your way up until you have multiple offices. Then you become a power player. But until then, it's like a line of defense. You got to go through the paralegals. They're hard to get through. You know, it's just much more difficult going after the A type of attorney. And that's usually, but that's the reason. That's the reason they're not taking your phone call or not wanting to meet with you is they don't value you. That's it. I mean, just get over it. They don't value you. Okay. If they valued you, they wouldn't be treating you like this. Okay. And you can't let this keep going on. So once we do that presentation, the whole dynamic, the value position totally changes 180 degrees. And now they see they got an ally that can significantly help them and stop them from losing a lot of money, and not only knows the documentation, but knows how to testify in court if necessary. That's tremendous value is what that is, because there's not many people that know how to do all that. So immediately that presentation shifts the dynamics, and they ask 50, like I said, 50% of the time, us to be their expert witness. When before that, they won't even take your phone call. That's how dramatic that presentation is and its impact, because it creates a lot of value. So so what I told the client, he goes, well, I tried to get in, they won't meet with me, they won't, I can't even get them on the phone. I said, well, here's what you do. Create a recording. Because remember, you got to try to get to the attorney as fast as possible to get him to see what he doesn't know, the unconscious incompetence phase, and how much you know that you're going to stop him from hurting and limiting his injury award. See, he doesn't even know that. If he knew his injury award was going to be hurt and limited by that documentation and you could stop it, he'd pick up the phone. He not even would pick up the phone, he'd call you first. So he's in a state of unconscious incompetence. He doesn't even know that yet. So we've got to get over that. So I told him, I said, here's what you want to do. I said, in this particular case, I said, and we want to do, you always want to do as fast as possible. Like even after the first initial exam, if they won't meet with, which is kind of unusual. It's not for the big firms though. That's what they do. I said, then you want to make a video like what I'm doing now. This is a video being created on Zoom. Just get on Zoom, hit record, and then you can do screen share and then put up the documents. And then you show them, say, here's all the categories we're paying attention to. This is what's documented. This is one. Here's all the documentation. And at this point in time, this is how strong of a case you have right now. Now, if it's before MMI, you still do everything. You just let them know where it's at this point in time. But we do expect some of these to get better because they haven't gone through all three phases of healing. So we're still going to do it. We're just going to position it and let them know that they're still going to heal. And then if they're at MMI, then we're going to make the video and say, and again, remember, we start with the 7 minimum categories that determine the strength of the case: primary, secondary evidence, multiple category evidence. So we know what documentation they do or don't have and how that's going to fall into the strength of the case. Make a video of it. So what you want to do is just create the 7 minimum categories, put all the primary and secondary information in there, multiple categories, point it all out. Hey, and if you have others more besides 7, add it. If you have injury magnifiers or ambulance or surgery or whatever, then, add the additional, besides the 7, add whatever you need, but there's always a minimum of 7. And then point out the strength of the case he has. See, and it's preferable to do it on a video. It's preferable to do it in person. If you can't do it in person, create a video. Because remember, 55% of how he communicates is visual. If you can't do a video for whatever reason, then you can do an audio recording. But that's what you want to do. And you want to do that before anything's written. Because the last thing I want to do is write it out. People don't take time to read. They'd rather watch a brief video than read something. So that's why you want to do everything you can to cut a short video like this, and then do screen share with the 7 minimum categories and whatever else you have. show where it's how much is filled up with primary, secondary evidence in multiple categories, point out the relevance of it as it relates to the case, then how to convert that documentation into the 4 injury awards. That's way better than nothing, than the relationship staying what it is, where they just abuse you, they don't talk to you, they won't pick up the phone, any of that. So you'll have a much better chance, even if it's a video, and then on the video say, hey, this is how, and then title it properly that's relevant to him. Say, hey, this is a video I've created. It shows you the strength of the case you have and how to convert the documentation into the 4 potential injury awards. An attorney's going to read that. They're going to watch that. That's what you want to do. Because you can't just let that crappy relationship go on. You can't just let them abusing you and treating you bad. And believe me, they have a reason to not treat you good. With all the crappy documentation they've gotten from chiropractors, there's a reason they don't treat chiropractors very well. Because chiropractors aren't helping them by and large. Their documentation typically hurts them.